I mean, one of the lessons in the Irish model is that the business model didn't break. It couldn't have broken because we've now returned to a very modest growth rate in 2011, driven entirely by export growth. So, a year and a half ago, in 2010, there was absolutely no prediction that we would see any growth in this economy again for half a decade by some commentators. So something must be dragging us back to this growth phenomenon. It is actually a very strong business model, which is incredibly flexible relative to other parts of Europe. And it's through that mechanism that even during this crisis, the social model, as it exists in Ireland, is still capable of generating resources in a sustainable way. Now, people say, well, we've got an enormous gap in the public finances and deficits and very high leveraged households during this phase. That's true, but that indebtedness is really where the potential comes from. Can that be sustained? We have great confidence in the Irish business model and been able to generate that, because one of the things that just in the last 24 hours we created an ambition for the growth rate, which we genuinely believe. We believe the Irish economy can grow at twice the European average on the basis that it has form. It's done this before. It has also got lots of capacity in terms of a modernized factors of production, in terms of the unemployed, but also in terms of the huge growth in capital that has emerged even during this crisis. Our foreign direct investment flows are very significant. And what's often forgotten about is the extent over the last 20 years in which indigenous multinationals have emerged from this business model. It was all driven from the capacity to reach a potential. One of the features about Europe is the impression that it puts blocks on potential. Potential to turn around quickly, potential for people to get into the labour market, potential for businesses to get out of markets. Potential is the most significant word, I think, about Europe, and it is so unspoken. The potential is never really tapped. We talk about the constraints, we talk about how we will share the pie, but we never talk about the potential size of the pie. And frankly, the potential growth ambitions for Europe are nothing short of a disgrace for a modern, globalized world, that the ambitions for Europe should be so modest that it is basically wasting the potential of its people. And no more evidence than the scandal of the youth unemployment that has been experienced right across Europe. Because, in my view, there's been a concentration on the financial aspects of an economy through the Euro project as much as anything else, and then an obsession about the transfer of welfare and resources, and an insufficient focus on the real economy, on what actually gets the inputs to create the outputs, the inputs of labour to create the outputs of goods that we need to ensure that we actually get more people with the flexibility to get into work, to get productive activities, to reach their potential, and to drive that on. If you lose sight of the real economy, you're destined to under-fulfill the potential of your people.